Good evening, boys and girls. We made it to the end of another week. And guess what? Proper football is back. We can't wait. Big game tomorrow for the Arsenal. It's casual Friday, but as you know, it's never casual when this guy's around. It's Kevin Says.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
It is indeed another live edition of the Highbury Squad. Welcome back, my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell. Bop. Squaddies. You made it to another Friday. Well done, everyone. You know what to say next, Kev.
At ease.
Breathe easy. The football's back. The real football is back. Good evening to everyone in chat. Thanks once again for joining us. The usual suspects are in the room, Kev. We're going to get straight to it tonight. No beating around the bush. You know why?
Let's do it.
Because, hold on a second. Vinny wanted to show Uncle Kevin something. He's on vacation. And he just because he's on vacation, Kev, he just wanted to make sure, okay, that everyone knew that it's not casual Friday when you're around and that I should stop saying that. So he wants to make sure that everyone hits that like button, okay, because they know the rules. If you hate Tottenham, hit the like button. And here's Vinny enjoying a little Arizona sunshine.
Vinny says, hit the like button.
Vinny says, hit the like button. All right, everyone, we're going to get straight to it. Kev has 3 great questions prepared, and I can't wait for number 3 personally. But as always, we'll start with question number 1.
Hi, everyone. Squaddies, this is Kev Says, and we're going to get straight into it. Listen, there's the one question, the bonus is for you, really. So here we go. Question 1. The partnership between Ben White and Gabrielle. What are your expectations, Squaddies? That partnership. That's question 1.
Expectations. Arsenal fans with expectations, Kev? No.
Let's see who's positive and let's see who's negative. This is why I asked this question. I want to see the negative Nellies or the positive people.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm positive because it's something new we haven't seen before. So for me, knowing how our defense has been, knowing how deficient we are, knowing how poor we have played, I can't imagine anyone wouldn't be excited about seeing this partnership. So for me, tomorrow especially, this is going to be Arteta's new Arsenal. This is going to be, his favoured pairing. So let's see what the squaddies have to say. Goals from corners and no mistake. You mean no goals from corners and no mistakes?
Maybe
Dom says clean
goals from our corners.
Okay,
maybe goals from our corners. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff and Dom both want clean sheets. Mm-hmm. We've got let's see. We've got Martin saying more clean sheets than the sheet making factory. Clock Orange says it better take off. Oh gosh. We're not talking about Cedric, guys. Kev?
Clockwork.
Question.
Come on. The question, stick to the question. Have you noticed something sometimes, Sophie? Arsenal fans always want to veer onto their whatever they want. No. Ben White and Gabrielle partnership. Stick to that.
Selective hearing, Kevin. We're very, very good at that as a fan base. There's no doubt about that. Liz says sharp intake of breath. Dubba Ducky, high expectations, 80 million pairing. Kev?
Hey, Dubba Ducky. Damn right.
Yeah, we've invested a lot of money in this pairing. And, for us, it's got to work. It's got to work. 80 million is a lot of cash. Let's see. Matty K says we're going to win the Mickey Mouse Cup and come 7th. Again, Matty K, stick to the subject here. We've got Sydney Mocha here. I expect both White and Gabrielle would partner each other well. We hope so. We don't know that yet, but Kev, they do complement.
That's the expectation, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's his expectation. We do hope so, Sophie. Of course we do, because let's be honest, what we've seen so far this season, it's not right.
Yeah, no, it's not right. Tampa Bay says, not getting bullied. I like this one. This is my favorite one so far. We need players that don't have that about them, Kev, and have that confidence. And I think that fear factor, of course, comes from, seeing Lukaku. They're not playing Lukaku. This is a great game for them to step into. I think this is perfect timing, isn't it? Isn't it, Kev? Swedish Gooner, I'm more interested on the communication between Gabriel White and Leno Ramsdale. Another good point.
Yeah, but
they've got to form a trust, Kev.
Swedish Gooner, stick to the question. Forget Leno and Ramsdale. We know all about that, but I'll talk about these two as a pairing. This is very important.
Okay, Archangel says they've never played together before. What could possibly go wrong? Always the optimist.
Well, I'm just thinking, did they play in that
Brentford game?
Behind closed doors, Brentford. I think they did. I'm not fully sure. If anyone in any squaddies could let me know whether Ben White and Gabriel. I know Gabriel played in it, but I'm not sure whether Ben White did. I hope he did.
This is very optimistic from Craig, Kev. Could be the next Adams and Bold, hopefully. Those are high expectations.
Well,
huge.
Again, the expectations has to be them to try and get to that level. Craig, 100%. But there are caveats into that for them to reach anywhere near that level is the people beside them.
Alison says keeping clean sheets and being very solid. Let's see. This is a consistent one. This must be the 6th one so far, Kev. Clean sheets, but mostly cover for our keeper. And Steven says, I expect to improve over time, but give them a break. They make mistakes early on. Give them a break if they make mistakes early on. I think this is a really good point, Kev, that if there's something negative that happens in the game early tomorrow against Norwich, I don't think we should be coming down hard. Hopefully the Emirates fans will not be coming down hard on these players.
Yeah, I honestly believe there's some frustration in the Arsenal camp. But again, for me, I think the international break came at the right time for us, Soph. It really did. It allows us to get players back, more training, etc. And that nice smile you just give there was very nice, Soph.
Good partnerships can take a while, says Mark, to develop, but hopefully White and Gabrielle can hit the ground running. This is very, very true. I think also, though, because Ben White cost 50 million, Kev, and Gabrielle was expensive too, but mostly Ben White's money. I think, fans are going to be unforgiving, aren't they? Because of it shouldn't be the case, but it is going to be the case.
Listen, fans will be whatever the fans are, right? The key for me, Sophie, and I'm going to wrap up at the end. The key for me is them starting off doing the basics right. I talk about the basics of defending. Clean sheets keep coming up. You keep clean sheets, you've got a chance. Of course, people make mistakes. But you know what? If you make a mistake and then your partner could help you get out of it, that's the type of defense that we need. Yeah, for mistakes making, if mistakes making, either you get yourself out of it or one of your mates cover you. That's key.
Arsenal Los Angeles, expect a strong one. With Tommy in now, we have cover for White's inability to win aerial duels. Gabby is obviously a presence already, just need them fit and in form, but that goes without saying. I think Tommy's not playing tomorrow because his visa hasn't cleared. Is this correct?
No, it was a work permit, wasn't it?
Work permit, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's cleared now. Yeah, it's cleared.
So we could see Tierney, White, Gabrielle, and Tommy.
Yep.
All. Whoa, that's kind of exciting, isn't it?
Well, it's exciting because you know what, Soph? That will be Arteta's back four.
Yeah.
Really.
Christopher says to form a relationship in the next 2 seasons that will be the basis of a title-winning side. Ooh, title aspirations, expectations.
Christopher, I like your thinking.
Kev, Alex says, I don't want to see any errors leading to goals conceded. I like that.
Love that, Alex. I absolutely love that. Because you've obviously delved into my book here of what I'm expecting. This is a really good point. Really good point.
He's copying your homework, Kev.
Well, you know what? I don't mind people copying my homework. But they've got to let me put the answers in first.
All right, just a few more. We'll rattle through these ones. Rock solid defense with forward progression, both good ball players. This is what I'm very excited about and what we've lacked extensively. So, it's important, isn't it, Kevin, especially with the way Arteta wants to play? Yes,
it is. It is. And again, we've got to hopefully, we'll get to question 2. And we could knit everything together, but
yes,
I think the expectation for these two and the ceiling for these two, Sophie, is pretty high.
Thank you. It is a nice room. Kev, as a friendlier way to say this, but Tampa Bay says not getting done by midgets.
Listen, well, that's enough. That's again the basics. Tampa Bay. That is the basics. Crosses are coming into your box, and we're not having midget midfielders nodding them in at the back post, and we've got centre halves there to deal with it. Can't happen anymore. All that's done. Them days are over.
Yeah. Okay, so let's put out a few more of these. A few people heard your conversation on Curtis's channel too, Kev, so you're getting a bit of love for that as well. Can't wait to listen to that a little bit later. Let's see. Saladin says, I expect they'll hold the line better. Sometimes you just talk about fundamentals, Kev. Basics, doing the small things and the basics.
Sophie, it's just like in in your line of work. If you can't do the basics properly, Sophie, who's going to really be dealing with you? Because you can't get things right. The moment you got the basics in place, the basics are your foundation. Once you've got the basics, then you could elaborate and do the creative stuff. But without the basics, you've got nothing. And I think we really need to go back to being good at the basics. And it starts with these two.
Yeah, this is an interesting one from Timothy, Kev. Opponents now have to work harder to score. And I think we should have those expectations. I love this one a lot.
100%. 100%. No cheap or easy goals. That is so important because, let's be honest, a lot of the teams haven't had to really work hard to score against us. They've just moved the ball, got it into the position. Against Man City, they put it in our box. They looked like they were going to score every time. So, we need to be a lot tougher than that. We need to be hard to beat, have more pride in keeping a clean sheet, have more pride in protecting our goalkeeper. And I expect that to ramp up with these two.
Nice. Clock Orange says, just defend. That's all we ask. We just misplace so many passes like we've got no foundation. Again, simple things, right?
Yep. Foundation, basics, etc. You get it at the back. You're in red. You pass it to a red shirt. You might think that's easy to do, but we're finding it difficult before. So that's what we need to do.
Martin says the only way for them to gel is to play them together. Trevor says we finally have 2 centre backs. Johnny Boy says we are demanding a fight. Let's see. We've got Jashar says, Sophie and Casey, I'm worried that Gabriel's lack of preseason may leave him undercooked. Very concerned about the new defense not having time to gel. So no, not really a lot of expectations here, but Kev, there's still a better option than what we have.
Again, Sophie, these two have been brought in by the manager to play together. We haven't been able to play them together. And yeah, Mari, we've seen Mari with Holding last season do okay and look okay, but it's a new season. You know, your levels cannot drop. We've seen he can do something, but his levels drop. Mari isn't the answer. Gabriel's the answer. And it's fair enough, lack of preseason, etc., but you need your best players playing.
Yeah, and also, Kev, not only with Gabriel on the defensive side and him being really kind of the strongest in the air, but what Gabriel offers, I think it was someone who said at the top of the show too, what he can offer on set pieces in the box. We don't, box. And we haven't had that. You know, we've seen him do and score really goal in the Europa League with, you know, with his head. And if he can get a good run of games, stay fit, I think there's that threat he offers too. I'll rattle through these and we'll move on to question number 2. Dimitri, my expectations are that I have no expectations. Well done. Johnny Boy, we're all expecting proper performances.
I'm not even commenting on that one.
Demsek says Tommy and Gabby doing the hard work and White playing out of the back. I think everyone's very, very excited about this. And I agree with you, Saludine, who made a comment earlier. Gabriel was doing so well before he was struck with COVID. So, yes. Timothy says, Soph, as long as they are fit, Arteta needs to select them consistently. Too much rotation at the back isn't healthy. We talked about this earlier in the week, about having a stable back line. All of the best teams, you know, look what Tuchel's done with Chelsea. They're stable, right? Man United, Manchester City, who were ripped this time last season, Kev. Do you remember the sky was falling for Manchester City, you know, wasting money on defenders and stuff like that. So I agree.
Turned out for them.
It didn't turn out too bad, did it, Casey?
Not too bad, no, not too bad.
All right, let's go to question number 2. I'll keep putting your comments up as well, you guys. You're listening to the Hybrid Squad. It's Kevin Says. You know what to do. Here we go with question number 2.
Question number 2. What's your expectation for the Lokonga-Thomas Partey partnership in the middle of the pitch? What are your expectations? Question 2.
Now, again, another very, dare I say, exciting. I know that Arsenal fans don't really like that word much after it was used by Josh Kroenke. But I think, what's the right word, Kev? It's something to look forward to. A fit Thomas Partey and a budgeting Lokonga, a player who has already shown that he can get stuck in and he plays. He's got a nice tempo about him. He's got a pass on him. You know, there's something quite...
Belgian international as well.
Yeah, and he played really well for Belgium, a few days ago in the week, Kev. And I think, by the way, let's definitely appreciate the bow tie. I love it when Kev records, Kevin Says, on Dicky Bow Thursday. All right, let's see what the squaddies think about this. Long-range goals and slicing passes. Kev, you and I got really excited in our FA Cup run, didn't we? With that over-the-top ball Tierney was playing to Aubameyang. That we had that a little bit about us in our run-up to the Cup and then in the Community Shield against Liverpool as well. And it seemed to, even though he likes playing on the flanks, Arteta, that the sweeping passes... We haven't really seen that. I'm not going to go back to the Santi days and I'm not going to go back to, Ozil. But at the same time, it's been a long time since we've had that Alonso-esque type of player as well who can just cross a ball in. And Ben White, by the way, has that ability too, those long-range passes, the distribution as well. Let's see. Steven says, Lukonga needs time, but I think he's going to develop really well playing next to Partey. I'm expecting them to be better next season, but I think they'll really start to do well after Christmas. Can't really afford for people to play well after Christmas. They have to start playing well now, Kev, no?
Yeah, well, look, maybe, if I may, Stephen's thoughts are they will play well, but they'll get even better after Christmas. How about that one? I help Stephen out there.
I posted a clip of the week, which I don't think actually posted. I've had some internet trouble on the road, but there's a great, I'm going to post it. You guys will see it. If it was down to Josh, our tactical squaddy, he would sell Thomas Partey because he feels like he's too injured. He blew Kevin's mind this week. It was absolutely insane.
That weren't good. I'm telling you. And some of the squaddies as well, they weren't happy.
They did. I think Rich agreed with him among many others. Alex says short term is to do the basics, Kev, and long term is to set the pace of the match. Set the pace of the match.
Alex, I think you've moved the goalposts a little bit. You've got to take out long term, and short term is to do the basics and set the pace of the match.
Yep.
That's what the short term is.
Yes. Osteoman says, I'm looking forward to LP partnership. Let's hope it's a good tune. Yes, definitely. Gail. Hi, Gail. Hopefully they can match really well and give us that strength and defensive protection we have sorely missed. Listen, you get the vibe. I'm getting a few chills here, Kev, because we feel like these Ben White, Gabriel, Lukonga, Partey, I'm so glad Xhaka is not available to play because of suspension. Forget COVID and stuff. No one wishes that on anybody. And, we wish him a speedy recovery. But in terms of being, an idiot on the pitch against Chelsea, we are going to get an opportunity to see these two guys play together, Kev.
Yeah, he's played the fool against City, didn't he? It was crazy what he done. He bailed out. But sometimes, Sophie, your actions of what you do come back to bite you. And that's a little bit of what I've got for this midfield pairing in my summary at the end.
Okay, cool.
I'm really hoping Granit Xhaka sending off at Manchester City is a turning point.
Is the beginning of the end of his Arsenal career. Mo says, my expectations are confident strength and that they're selected to play together a wall to protect our forwards. Avon says, heard conflicting reports on Lukonga today. Charles Watt said he wasn't in training. What? Really?
Yeah, I heard he had a knock or something like that. But it didn't say that he's not going to be fit for the week, fit to play.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
Dwayne says it's going to be a slow burner. Not expecting Arteta to overplay Sambi, but the latter end of the season, I'd expect them to be the first choice. This notion that Sambi can't play, look, every player is going to need rest at some point. We don't have European football. In my opinion, Kev, he's ready to play and he should play whenever.
He's fit, he's young, he wants to play. Play him. What are we talking about? Play him. We got no Xhaka. We got El Nene struggling. I think he's injured. Who else is there? Obviously, if he don't play, if let's say Lukonga is injured, then you know who gets an opportunity to show himself? Probably Maitland-Niles.
Yeah. Sean says his expectation is that he'll do well and then get dropped when Xhaka's back. I hope not, Kevin. Do you remember when Pepe kind of had a few good run of games and Arteta benched him? Be a shame.
Again, the summary at the end, anyone could get, if the manager wants to change it, he can change it. The key is you've got to keep winning. Now there's 4 games coming up. The fourth one, Xhaka will be off his suspension of COVID. You've got an opportunity to play together and make that position yours.
Yeah, exactly.
Take it. Possession is 9/10 of the law, Soph.
Kev, Rudy says they're going to boss the midfield. Get
Now,
in.
Rudy, there you go. There you go, Rudy. You've been into my stuff again. I love it. I absolutely love it. This is what we need. We need control of that midfield. Bossing that midfield.
Timothy says dynamic duo. Clock Orange says they need to protect the defenders. Simple. If that happens, things will fall into place. All right. I'm going to give a little bit more time to the third question because I think it's going to be really interesting. I just wanted to put in Lone Stars, though. Stability, Kev. What a great word that Arsenal need. And now I'm like an Italian. I wanted the pasta. Stability, incisive going forward, protect the back four, drive the team in the engine room, intelligence and maturity.
You've said it, Lone Star, London. I don't need to say no more. I just had a few bits at the end. That is. We haven't had that for a long time, Soph, from our central midfield. And, you know, we need it. If we're going to progress as a football club, we need it. That's for sure.
I'll put money on Thomas Partey scoring tomorrow, you guys. How about that? Tampa Bay goals from midfield. Kev's talked about this before. You know, so important to have that type of team that can get goals from midfield. And Kev, I'll put MK's up. Faster build-up play.
Get the opposition off their spot. Play through them as opposed to across them. Then they're struggling to catch up. They can't get back into a shape. That's really important.
Yes, we have a Chelsea fan in the house, just in time. We very much appreciate your kind comments and thank you so much for tuning in to us.
Nice one.
We love it when opposing fans tune in. Patterns of play, Kev is one. I'm not sure about this one. A few of you are saying this. Can we just please relax on the Patino thing? Kev, we're doing it again, Kev. We're doing it again. We did it with Fabregas.
Aziz is ahead of Patino, and he's on loan. Leave the young man be. Let him learn the game.
I know he's been training. Yeah. He's been training with the first team, Kev. But I just fear that we're going to do this again. Fabregas, Wilshere, Balogun, Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka. Yes, but I just think that it's just too soon for us. As this team is gelling now, what do we want to do? Throw Charlie Patino in the mix, and if things don't go well, then, he gets killed. I just think we've got to be really careful about that.
It's not happening. He's
all right,
I'll keep young player who's got to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll keep putting your comments up. Keep them coming, you guys. They're really good tonight. And I think what I love is the optimism that's in the house. I really like this. There's a mini positive energy vibing in the.
That's what I tried.
I tried tonight. That. Yeah. All right, Kev. This might change everything.
Well, let's see.
Okay.
Because it's interesting. This is an interesting one.
This is a great question because I think it's something everyone wishes they could be. So here we go.
Question number 3. If you were the owner of Arsenal and you obviously had your plan, would you change it because the fan base disapproved or some of the fan base disapproved? Question 3. So I'll go over it again, recap. Number 1, what's your expectation for the Ben White-Gabriel partnership at centre-back? And just in front of them, what we expect is number 2, what's your expectation for the Lokonga-Thomas Partey central midfield partnership? And the bonus, which is last but not least, and there's no one word answers, I want it properly explained, please, on the bonus number 3. If you were the owner, obviously you would have a plan. Would you change your plan because some fans disapproved of it? So I look to engage with you, deal with you, and in some instances, rock the neck. Mr. Waffles, come correct this week. Look after yourselves, everybody. I look forward to dealing with you in show. Take care, squaddies. At ease.
Mr. Waffles, God bless. Yes, I haven't seen Mr. Waffles since. So hopefully Mr. Waffles is doing okay. We send our kindest regards.
He's bathing in honey.
Really interesting.
He's bathing in some honey. He's bathing in honey. He's just chilling out.
Kev, I really like this question for many reasons because it wasn't a hey, if you're Arsenal boss, what would you do? It's if the fan base, are displeased with what you're doing, would you change it? And I think that's interesting because they face this and they faced this for years. I know I would not, because if I have a plan and a strategic directive and objectives in terms of where I want my team to go, I wouldn't do it. But the thing is that they're not owners that are engaged in the building of the team, so they leave it to others. And I think that that's a little bit of a tricky path, that we've gone down. A lot of owners do that, but they have really good executives who spend their money for them. So with that said, Double Ducky says, never, I'm the boss, it's my way or the highway. Ruthless entrepreneur there. But still, it's his money, right?
Strong statement, yeah.
Let's see. Sam, it needs context. In the case of Arsenal, what they've been doing hasn't been working, and that's what's resulted in the fans' reaction. I would say yes, change it.
Time out, Sam. It's not what's been... You are the owner. Stop telling me. You're the owner. I don't want to hear what's happening at Arsenal. You're the owner. Bruk the neck, Sam. You are the owner. You have a plan. The fan base, some of the fan base, disagree. Do you change it? So I'm going to go with, I would say yes, change it. So all the waffle before it, just to whisk the waffle in the honey, no, you would change it.
Weedy Marley. Now there's a screen name. I like it. If I was an owner and the fans were not coming to home games, I would sack Arteta like we did Wenger and get the paying fans back. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm going to use this quite a bit in this section.
Do you know what, Soph? Just play that and move on. Honestly, because let's play that when they start going off on play that and move on, please.
Stephen, change management and football director to reach my goal, which is champions.
Play the Bruk the neck, Sophie, and move on.
I'm going to find one for you eventually.
You're going to get one eventually, but again, listen to what's going on. They won't answer Bob, the question.
It would not be my plan if I change it just because of fans' criticism. It would be the fans' plan then, and fans should never really run the club. Just my humble opinion. I mean, they should have a say, I mean, there are teams that, have fan ownership, but Casey, you're a ledge. All right, Matty, come on. What's your opinion?
Everybody's loving Mr. Waffles now. Legend, Mr. Waffles, look.
He's become a legend. Okay, Arnie says, why should they? It's the players on the pitch that have not turned up in games. Jeremiah says yes and no. Yes, if their points are valid. No, if they are only reactionary. We'll give this one MK. Fans' opinions are irrelevant, but it's broken. So Sakadu, Arteta, and Vinay hire Overmars, new manager, maybe Wenger upstairs. So MK firing people. Glorious Goon says, oh, yes, as an owner, I'd also be a fan. So, yes, I'd change it for the fans because it's what's really needed. The majority of the fans are more than sensible. Mark Cuban's a fan of the Mavericks. I'm not sure, a sports fan. Go on, Kev. What's your thought on this one?
I was waiting for the glorious goons. I was waiting for this one. So, here's the point and the principle, Sophie. He would change his plan because the fans disproved. But what about when the others disprove of what he's doing? Is he going to change it again? Because fans have different opinions. You see, you even hear that in the background. Vesper say, "Yeah, tell him."
It's a new dog. It's actually our friend Erin's dog, Miley.
Miley's like, "Tell him."
It's a dog pound here, Kev.
Yeah, man, tell him. Right?
They wouldn't change a thing.
Right, because at the end of the day, Sophie, you can have some in the middle, 20% in the middle. You have 40% one side and 40% the other. Is he then going to change to the other 40% when they disapprove of which way he goes because he's changed? That's called weak ownership. That isn't strong ownership or strong leadership. That's weak. Glorious goons. Come on.
Well, Sam says, no, Kevin, the fans disagree, yes, but the plan is also not working. Both combined means change it. But he's not asking what we're doing now. He's asking what you would do if you were the owner. Richard Reed says, if I was the owner, I'd listen to the fans, but it would have to be a balanced discussion. I would have had a better structure in place from day one so the fans wouldn't have an axe to grind.
Are you serious, Richard? Are you serious? The fans wouldn't have an axe to grind?
Oh, I thought that was a pretty good statement, but
no,
okay,
I know you would think that, Sophie. You would think that. But what I'm getting at is, you don't make it. So, as an owner, do you reckon the owner makes their plan based on what fans think or what's the right thing for the club? That is my point.
Yeah,
because
I mean, it doesn't always.
Because you'll have some who think right, some who think left, and some who sit in the middle.
Dimitri says no, not because they disapprove, but yes, if they fans are probably right.
Weak ownership. Weak ownership. I'll tell you the reason I asked this question, Sophie. Because if a club is dictated by what the fans think, the club's in trouble.
I think Sudhanwar here will probably win your comment on this one. I think fans are driven emotionally, but another crucial part of decision-making is not succumbing to emotion. As an owner, I would not be swayed by the fans' opinion.
Sudhanwar, perfect. That's a mic drop. That really is a mic drop. Do you reckon? You look around anywhere. The direction of the club has to be driven by the ownership, not what the fans think.
Yeah.
It can't be. Because you know what? The fans will change week to week.
Yeah. Like the previous comment that said we're emotional, which we are. That's what being a football fan's all about.
Exactly.
Vuk Vouchich says no, a fan base is not a defined group and doesn't have a coherent opinion. But what I would do is much more is communicate more with the fans and explain the plan. I like this idea of communication. I think the Do interview for Sky Sports was a little, reactionary based on fear versus, say, for example, what the Aston Villa chairman did when they talked about the Jack Grealish sale to Manchester City.
But that's an easy one, Soph. Jack Grealish sale is an easy one because
he had the clause.
He had the clause. The clause was met. So it's kind of an easy one. For me, right or wrong, and we know sometimes these things could turn the hornet's nest over. But at least Edu came out and spoke. People know, okay, that's the way they're going. That's the plan. We've been getting pelters from the media about Arsenal have no direction. Well, there the direction was. Whether you like it or not, that's the direction the club's going in.
500 of you joining us in live chat this fine Friday evening, morning, afternoon, wherever in the world you may be. Thank you. We are always so grateful that you take time out of your day to spend your time with us. Kev, I like this one. It's an interesting comment from Adam. The Super League was a plan and they backtracked pretty quickly because the fans didn't like it. What's your thought on that? It's a very...
Adam, is that what you seriously think? They backtracked because of the fans?
Well, they did.
No, they didn't backtrack because of the fans. They made it out that way. Let me tell you this, Sophie. The plan for the Premier League back then was all clubs on board. How do you bring out something and it isn't already sorted? It makes no sense. So that was a tester for the marketplace. Yeah, the fans revolted, clubs revolted, the Premier League revolted. This isn't about the fans, because let me just tell you this. It's the governing bodies that run football.
I want to put this comment on for you, and then we're going to get your take on everything here in the last 10, 15 minutes, Kev. Arjab says, what Kevin says sets a dangerous precedent. The owners ideally would like to sell us for the Super League. And I get what you're saying. I get what he's saying. We fans think that we all did a great job and, you know, United, Liverpool was called off and all these things. But ultimately, the repercussions...
It's going to happen. Watch. It's going to
come back, isn't it?
It has to, Sophie. It has to. And the form it may take may be different. But you watch. It will come back.
I absolutely believe in what you're saying there, and I do think it will at some point. Look, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus still have not walked away from it. They've not.
They've doubled down. They've doubled down.
They've doubled down. All right, Kev. Well, look, with so many comments, I'm going to keep putting them up. Thanks, everyone. Some really good stuff from the squaddies and everyone in chat this evening.
Well, I hope that's got everybody thinking. I hope that's got everybody thinking. No, Stefan, here's what I'll say. This was a shot across the bows of UEFA because of the Champions League format. This isn't nothing to do with the Premier League. This is to do with the Champions League format. Okay? Because the UEFA are not moving in the right direction regarding the Champions League.
Kev?
I reckon we will see that revamped and reformed sometime soon. Yes.
Kev, you know, this whole notion about now and with fans talking about how this is how the Premier League really started, wasn't it? We were all afraid. We were like, we love our football. Division 1. What's there to change? Yeah. And at the beginning, everyone was really skeptical and they were really afraid. I think it's because there's no jeopardy with the Super League that really pisses a lot of fans off. Like the no promotion, the relegation, and it's kind of selective. I mean, you know, you look at the fine print, the way they've dotted the I's and crossed the T's on the rules of it and stuff like that. And, you know, you played in both. But in the end, we look at the Premier League and what it's done for football and the English game as well.
It's done so much for the global fan base as well. Arsenal are now a global entity, top 10 team around the world. It's been huge, the Premier League. But again, this Super League thing isn't based at the Premier League. It is concentrated on that Champions League format. That's what they want to change.
Yeah.
And you might see different forms of it in the future.
All right, Kev. I wanted to read this one out real quick. Man United fans invaded the stadium and got Ronaldo. We applauded a 0-2 home loss to Chelsea and got Xhaka for 3 more years.
Oh, so well done, Gooner.
Well done. Kev, I think a lot of people, in terms of your question, they don't think fans should be running clubs. We'd like to hear your answers to your questions now. Question number 1.
Ben White and Gabriel, I think for us is that balanced centre-back partnership that we really need. The way we want to play, the way we want to progress the ball, the way we want to defend high, because both of them are quick players. So both of them could deal with strikers with speed. And we've got the big aggressive centre-half who can deal with the aerial business that Ben White could sweep up. I think that's really important. Obviously, we want Gabriel to get his game legs underneath him. But the only way he's going to get that is by playing. One thing, the basics. We talk about the basics, Sophie. Basic defending. Being able to defend one-on-one with defender. Being able to communicate. Being able to take pride in not having the opposition get shots at your goal. And most importantly, Sophie, build a strong partnership there that we can be proud of as fans. We need them together, don't we? We need them together. We got to make sure we want whoever's in goal to be pedestrian. You see him doing his exercises, you see him doing his, but the most he's doing is maybe taking a cross or a back pass, he's passing the ball out, not having save after save to make. I think that's really important. And then we'll see everything start to gel. But the key as well for these two are the fullbacks. The fullbacks got to be able to defend as well. But there is a high ceiling for these two. Very high ceiling.
I hope so, Kev. I really do. I wish them nothing but the best and success. I mean, really, I really hope they get off to a really good start. And this is, as I said, the perfect game for them to be able to do that. Give them confidence. All right, Kev, question number 2.
Question number 2. Aye. Question number 2. Partey and Lokonga in midfield. Finally, we have 2 players in the midfield who can get around the pitch, who can play, who could create a tempo. They can protect, but they can create a tempo in our team and play through the opposition. This is so important for us because what tends to happen is we take our time and we play across teams, so they all get back into position and then it takes ages to break them down. Sophie, you made a good point about, you know, when we used to release Aubameyang and we release Pepe, etc. You've got to have the vision and you've got to be able to see it early. We've got Ben White, we've got Gabriel who could do it. But these 2 in midfield, I think, are the key. We've got to get them playing through, get the ball to Odegaard, get the ball to Saka, get the ball to Aubameyang, get the ball to Lacazette, get the ball to Pepe early and quick so they can hurt the opposition. And I think we'll be all right. I think we're going to be all right. And just to finish, the Xhaka sending off at Manchester City, for me, could be his real downfall at Arsenal. Because now, these 2, hopefully, if Lokonga's okay, have 3 games to let everybody forget Xhaka.
I think a lot of people have already, Kev. But
you know what I mean. Just forget him.
Yes,
he can't. He can't come back in the side because we look different.
Arteta's the one that has to forget him the most.
But that's why they got 3-4 games to do it. Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm particularly intrigued by this one. I really am. Because I think a lot of people in chat were talking about speed, tempo, you know, setting the tone. Again, we talked about, you know, consistency in the back line for some of these top teams who've excelled in the league over the years, Kev. And the midfield, that engine, as you've always said, it's the nucleus of everything.
Everything comes from there. Protection of the back, the way you play, controlling the game, the midfield battle you've got to win, and then you could start taking over the game, releasing players, giving people good ball, setting up your attacks. There's so much that comes from that part. And I believe in Thomas Partey and Lokonga, we have a pairing that is better than Partey and Xhaka.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know we need more players in there as well at times, but this is the best we got at the moment.
I really hope these budding rumours about Sambi being injured are untrue. I really do. Be great for him to come in to see like White and Gabriel back there, and then Partey and Lokonga together, because
confidence.
Also first line of defence, last line of defence, bridging that gap. We always allow so much space between the midfield and the defence. We're chasing ourselves. Positioning is always off. I hope that he can play. I really do, Kev. Right.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Firstly, I'd like to say I wish you owned Arsenal Football Club. Because if you did, you would suffer no falls, and this would be happening every second of the day. What would you do, Kev?
The key for me is this, and I mean this with all respect to fans. I'm a fan myself. Fans aren't the best people to make the tough decisions at the top of a football club. Why? Because they're emotionally driven. I'm owner. I got the plan. Fans, unfortunately, this is how it goes. It goes my way. Do I need to explain it? Not necessarily. I don't need to explain it. But I know the drive of everybody in the football club is to go down that route. That's the key for me. And we know, I don't want to relate it to how Arsenal are now because we've had so many things overlapping. I just wanted to get this and ask the fan base about being an owner. Because if you've got a plan and then some people are not happy with your plan, you ain't much of an owner if you change your plan. Because as an owner, you would have looked at every eventuality. That's what you have to do. You look at every eventuality and then you have to work up that plan and say, right, do you know what? We're not going to go there. We're not going to do it. This is where we're going to go. And I'm going to put all my effort in to go that way. So that's what we do. And fans may like it. Fans may not. But you know what? Bottom line, it comes down to this, Sophie. If you dive the plan and you do the plan and the team win, you're right. The problems are when the team don't win. Then the fan base always have their opinion, which is fine. I would do it this way. I would do it that way. But there has to be a plan. Our current problem is we've had so many different things overlapping. And it's difficult to have the plan when you've had 4 managers in 4 years. It's difficult because the new manager wants different players, etc. But as we know, the line is drawn in the sand now, Soph. The line is drawn in the sand. This is new Arsenal now. Whether the current manager is manager of the new Arsenal come the end of the season or come the next 4 games, I don't know. But the plan has to be the plan of the club and moving forward. Right?
Really good point.
Somebody just mentioned about signing backups. No, they're not backups.
Yeah, the 130 million comment.
130 million.
I'll put it back
people
up
people have to understand is this. We are playing catch up, whichever way you look at it. We've had more holes in our squad, as someone put up on a previous show. More holes in our squad than the Swiss cheese. We have to plug gaps in our squad. We do not have the money to go and change the whole squad. We don't. But what we do have is a plan that the club are going to stick to. Again, whether Arteta's manager or not, the club have to stick to this plan and move it forward. Because whether it's this season, next season, eventually the plan will start to take shape. We want it to take shape straight away because we're frustrated. But that's the plan and they have to stick to it. If I'm owner, I'm sticking to the plan. Period.
I even though some fans may not like this in their eyes supposed plan, I actually do think that there is some. This is why I was so incensed by, I think
Eddie.
it was Gary Neville, and then I think there was something on. I don't know if it was Squawker or whatever that thing's called. People just taking shots, right? Because I'm thinking, well, actually, there is. We've just decided to invest in younger players.
Yeah.
We've tried a lot towards the end
names.
of Wenger's reign. We've tried,
Names.
the
Tried
Unai,
names. Yeah.
right? And I think for the first time, whether you like it or not, there's definitely a strategic vision as to what they want to do. Whether it works or not, Kev, we're not going to know that. We're not going to know that for a long time.
But here's the thing, Sophie, and this is the key component. Whether it's this manager at the helm or not, doesn't stop the plan.
For your club or for the Arsenal?
No, for any plan. For any plan. The manager shouldn't matter. It's the plan that matters. So
you know what
if
I
the
find
manager,
interesting?
Go on, Soph.
I was going. You say that, but there is a profile change when a new manager comes in, isn't there, Kev?
Yeah, our profile of player had to change. Why, Sophie? Because for season after season, we've been inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's the first sign of madness, isn't it? If you do the same thing and expect a different result. It's the first sign of madness. Why would it change when you're dealing with you're doing the same thing? The plan is the key. Younger profile. British players with experience from abroad, but they're young. And they've got something to prove as well. That's also what's really important. The players have something to prove. And you know what? That's what actually made Arsenal, Soph. That's what made the Arsenal I grew up in, and that's what made Arsene Wenger. The player he was bringing in had something to prove. Vieira's and Henry's and they had something to prove.
Yeah, I mean, they even Bergkamp, he was a disaster in Italy.
Exactly.
Thierry was not having a good time
at Juventus. Patrick was having a poor time at, what was it, Inter Milan or whatever? AC Milan, whichever Milan it was. Again, signing younger players with something to prove. That's the plan. So whether it's Arteta or not, any manager wants a team who is hungry. And maybe our previous teams weren't as hungry, Soph.
And you know what? I wanted to put this up for you from O'Malley. So true. We've been harping on about Arsenal finding these gems before their household names, and then we make them household names, right? But then he says we start doing it and people complain. It's so ironic. It really is. I mean, as much as I'm unhappy with how things have gone on the pitch, there's nothing more I would love than this team to climb up the table, play competitive football, be consistent, and shove it right up down everyone's throat, Kev.
That's what listen, you and I work in the media. You and I work in the media, right? Being on a lot of these shows, Sophie, it would be nice to just sit back and smile, wouldn't it? And listen to all the backtracking that a lot of these people who, when Arsenal are down, they lump on, they beat the team with this and that and whatever. But in order for us to get there, we've got to keep to that plan. We've got to.
Yeah, I know some of you in chat are saying, Soph, that will never happen. And some of you saying, I agree, Soph, it will happen. Here's the scoop. It might not happen with Arteta. It may happen with Arteta, and it may be the guy that comes after him. Look at Manchester United. They've had to go through Moyes and Van Gaal, Mourinho delivered 2 trophies, but in the league, they were still weak. And they stayed faithful to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And whichever way we splice it, the club is buzzing again because of, they didn't win their Europa League final. They finished second. They've had consistent Champions League football now. There's patterns to some of this. And it might not be Arteta, but it will happen one day with someone. Because I refuse to believe the Arsenal Football Club will not be up there again, Kevin. I refuse.
And Sophie, here's the other thing. When Arsene Wenger came in, he inherited the foundation of George Graham, that back 5. Then he started to put pieces. Obviously, he had Ian Wright, had Ray Parlour, had different players at the club. But then he started to recognise, right, I can get a hungry Vieira. I can get a Petit. I can get Henry in. Anelka came. Henry came. Then he started to bring all these little gems. People hadn't heard of them, really. And then they proved themselves. That's the key. They got an opportunity to prove themselves. And it seems to me that we're kind of going down that route, maybe the opposite way. We're getting in the younger talent. And then when it comes to bringing in the more experience, moving forward, then you don't need as many players because you've fattened your squad up. The Azizes of this world, homegrown, have now got some experience. They can come in and do a job. So that fattens your squad up. And then you only really need to bring in 3 or 4 key performers. That's what Manchester United have done. Fernandes and all these guys, they've had the basis, but then they've brought in, Fernandes. Now they've got Varane, Sancho, and the prodigal sons come home.
Kevin, the next phase will be for Edu to stand by his word and talk about bringing in some additional world-class players, Kev. He said it out loud now.
Of course.
He said it in public. He will be held to that. He will be held to that.
And doesn't he know that? I tell you.
He does know that. Brilliant stuff today, Kev. Great show. Great comments from everyone in chat. I love the last question.
Sophie, can I just say something about the last question?
Yeah.
But did you see where it took us? It took us from being owner all the way back round to this squad and how the plan is going, and then recognizing this isn't a new plan. We've seen this plan work at Arsenal before. And a lot of people maybe forget. This plan can actually work, and it's nothing to do with this manager right now. But we need a younger squad. We need a hungry squad. Because I keep talking about crossing the white line, Sophie, and doesn't matter the system. You've got to battle, you've got to fight, you've got to win your battles. You need hunger for that. You do, you need hunger.
I hope so. Look, I know some of you are saying it's not going to happen. Gazidis promised us like a Bayern Munich type team and all that type of jazz. And you know what? The club just spent 130 million on signings. You guys wanted the club to spend the money, and they've spent the money, right? And
it may not be who you wanted most of the time, but they've spent the money.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's like they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. What they want is for Kroenke to put his hand in his own pocket like Abramovich does. That's the truth about all of this, Kev. That's what they want. And that's just not going to happen. Not right now. And as I said...
Abramovich has been doing it for 20 years, so...
Yeah, he has. And if they do not, that, forgive me, what is it? Shame me once, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. So the Gazidis, Wenger, Emery, the Arteta, Edu promise that he made, fans will not be as forgiving if this doesn't work out. It would be the least forgiving moment in Arsenal's history. People think that they've seen it bad now, Kev. Like, if they don't follow through on this, if this team doesn't work out, if they don't go out and get those additional experienced players and they're shining everyone again, they deserve what they get. They deserve empty seats.
Well, we've already said it, Soph. It may not be this manager.
Yeah.
Who gets to guide the plan. The key is recruiting right, which has been our Achilles heel. That's been our biggest problem, is our recruitment. Recruitment,
which is poor, which then doesn't lead to our other Achilles heel, competitiveness, and our third Achilles heel, consistency. You can't have the competitiveness and the consistency without having the right players. It's just impossible. It's never going to work. So as much as I have not enjoyed watching Arteta ball, we have to see if this team's going to gel together, Kevin. We've got to see if it's going to work. And he doesn't have a lot of games to do it. He just does not.
4 games. It's 4 games till the next international break, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 4 games.
We'll see what happens.
I talk about eye test and snapshots. Well, we're going to see it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, this has been another epic episode of Kevin Says. We're going to do our second episode of our new YouTube comment series next week. So keep them coming for those listening on replay. Get your comments up. I've got some spicy ones for you, Kevin, from this week. Oh boy, do I.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
I have some spice for you from the Saliba show. You're gonna
lovely. I hope Mr. Waffles is in there.
There's a lot of waffling going on, let's just say, and a lot of people were not happy with you, and some weren't happy with me either.
Good. I love it. The ones that ain't happy, I want them first, because I'm going to brock them up.
Kev, why don't we give our predictions real quick for Norwich? Are you on the post game? Or are you working the game tomorrow? Are you on the post game show tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be on the post game.
Okay, lovely.
2-0 Arsenal for me. 2-0. I want more, but I'll take 2-0, so I'm going 2-0.
I really hope that we keep a clean sheet. I'd love to say 3-0, but I'm going to go for an optimistic 3-1. And maybe the only way they score is if it's an own goal by us. They're poor, but they're also and can be dangerous, Kev. It's not going to be an easy match. We've got to score first. Get the crowd behind us. Let's go.
Well, one of the things that they're going to do, Sophie, they're going to try and turn the crowd against us. They're going to keep it tight. They know we're reeling. So if they keep it tight for 20 minutes and the murmurs start to go in the crowd at the Emirates, then, the level, the height, the energy tends to seep out of the team. So we've got to back the team tomorrow at the Emirates, guys.
Definitely. We will back them up. All right. Excellent stuff. We'll see you tomorrow after the game. Kev, I wanted to show you something real quick. I'm very fortunate to be staying at my friend's place in Arizona. You would love it here, chilling by the pool. I'm getting to spend a lot of precious time with some of my mates, turning 50 does that. And I was welcomed by these tank tops. How cool is that? Sophie 1971. And I said, nice. Do you have any idea how special that year is? And she goes, yes, the year you were born. And I said, no, it's the year the Arsenal won the double.
It's amazing how it's amazing how it always relates to football sometimes, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Absolutely. So thanks to my good friend Erin, her family, and just wanted to throw that out there because they're going to be listening to the show. And also Craig for his creativity on those beautiful shirts. Okay. Everybody, we will see you tomorrow night. I will give the last word to this man, the legend that is Super Kevin Campbell.
Sophie, thanks again. Hostess with a bonus. Enjoy Arizona, and I'll see you tomorrow. Squaddies, love ya. Great answers to the questions. And, we're going to see you tomorrow post-game, where hopefully we've all got a smile on our face and we're talking about some quality performances. I'm really looking forward to, someone I haven't mentioned, I'm really looking forward to seeing Tomiyasu if he gets the opportunity to play.
That'd be cool.
So, squaddies, love ya. Take it easy. I salute ya. And you know what happens next. At ease, squad.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.